Rates just dropped down into the fives. This is Ron Wojciechowski with the Black Hole of Real Estate, and we've talked about it. We knew we would get there, and this week, rates hit 5.99 national average across the board. So what that means is an average. There's actually rates out right now that are below that, maybe 5.75. That's a rate that's going to be possible if you got really good credit, a good down payment, a good track record of payment. I think there's a lot that you can do right now because now we just got below that psychological barrier of 6%. And I can imagine that at the end of January, the 27th and 28th, when the Fed meets, there's a possibility of a rate drop. Now, it's about 50-50 right now. They've dropped 3 meetings in a row, and this will be the 4th if they went down, presumably, another quarter of a point. But what caused the rates to go below 6%? Because it hasn't been a meeting in a month. Well, $200 billion worth of bonds are in the process of being purchased right now, and the president has made a decree that his people, as he called it, and I think it's the FHFA, is making bond purchases, and that's going to put more liquidity into the market. And because there's more money available to loan, it tends to lower interest rates. And not always, but in this case, it has. And what we saw on January 9th when they announced the $200 billion in bond buying, 22 basis points dropped off the rate. So 0.22 dropped off the rate, just like that. So I do believe that that was the catalyst to make that happen. Now, consumers feel excited about this. And you can see it because when the rates went down, applications are going up because now homes are going to be a little more affordable. Monthly payments are going to go down because the rate is lower. And people have been waiting for this. So it's been a long, long time to when we had rates in the fives. It's been 3 years, as a matter of fact. So it's been a long time sitting up at the 6s and 7s. And it did slow down part of the housing industry. Now, there's reasons beyond just the interest rate that has slowed down. But if you want to give me a top 2 or 3 things that might cause people to go out and buy, I'd say lower rates has got to be in that top 3, definitely. Job market, inflation, those are probably, within that mix of the top 3. But for most people, the lowest monthly payment is the number one thing to get them into a house. And the interest rate is the corresponding piece to that. So it gets really interesting right now because now that we are in the fives, and there's a trajectory that we're probably going to see rates going down a little bit more. What's the next barrier? See, I think it's 5.5%. And I don't know if we get there in the first half of the year, but I do think we can get that 5.75 range in the next couple of Fed meetings. Powell, he's Fed chair for until May. There'll be a new guy in there. And when that happens, my suspicion is because the president's going to announce a Fed president, is probably somebody who also follows along the philosophy of lower interest rates being good for homeowners and therefore good for the economy. So my suspicion is by the middle of the year, you'll see 5.5. Now, I don't think we're going back down into the 4s, although it might be a little bit interesting to see that. But right now, we're in the 5s. I think it's super exciting for home buyers right now. And what I believe is you're going to see the market picking up week after week after week because the lower rates are getting people's attention, getting them to make mortgage applications and looking at properties. So I think it's arrows up for the real estate market as we travel into the second half of the month of January in 2026. So exciting times out there. If you got questions about interest rates or how this is going to help you or work with you to get that next home. And if you're a home seller, by the way, it's good news too, because now buyers are going to be able to purchase homes at a little higher purchase price. That's probably good news for sellers as well. This is Ron Wojciechowski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.